Hello, lady asked the question. She wanted to know some information about lights for cameras and for studio work. So I'm going to go through a few things. Basically, there's three different types of lights you can use. One is a continuous. Secondly, is a strobe or a flash, like this little thing here. And then thirdly, you've got the bigger studio gear. I'll show the differences. So a continuous light is literally any sort of light which is continuous, on and off switch, basically as a light. The ones you'll see on Amazon and eBay, so it'll come in a big soft box, and then we have 5 lamps inside of there. Normally be an energy saving type of light, and literally there'll be 4 or 5 switches on the back to control the individual lamps. They're okay, but generally not bright enough to do most studio work. They can be used very, very well for product photography, for like a bottle or a playing card. You can put this on, put a big diffusing panel in front and create a nice softer light. So for little intricate details, they can be used quite well. But most of the studio work, you're going to be shooting babies, adults, children. So the next type up is a strobe or flashlight. So this thing here, I've got it on a very simple lighting stand with a little flash umbrella bracket. Strobes are great. You can take them with you, battery powered. You can bounce them, you can diffuse them. You will need to diffuse them ideally because the power here is very, very small. So it's going to create quite a harsh light with harsh shadows. So the bigger the light source, the softer the light, the nicer the picture looks, and certainly the softer the shadows. So some sort of diffusion on this is wonderful. I'll go through some of those a bit later into the video. In terms of control, this one is a full manual. So literally on the back here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. You have a panel, so it goes from 1:1 power, which is full power, all the way down to 1/128th of a power, which is that there. And then literally just use the controls on the back to control it. You also have a zoom function, so that's how concentrated the beam of light is as well, which can be handy. But I don't always use it because I generally always use mine in a softbox or an umbrella. It can be fired remotely. I'll go through the remote triggers in a second, but literally you have a little additional item on the bottom of the flash. You have a transmitter fitted to the hot shoe of the camera, and then you literally just fire away. You can get some slightly better, more powerful ones that have a few more functions, and you can get some very, very basic ones. This is a basic Yongnuo, which I think I paid about equivalent in America, about $40. The triggers themselves are only about 20, but again, I'll go through the triggers in a bit. So that's speed lights or flashlights. They are very, very good, very, very versatile, very, very portable. The slight downside is the flash output isn't as bright as you're going to get with the big studio lights. So here is a full-on studio light. I bought these cheap the other day. That's why all this equipment is still out. 2 bulbs inside. So the inner light is what's known as a modelling light, which I'll show you in a second. And then the outside one of that is then the actual flash itself. So if I then show you the back of the light. So these are all mains powered. Some you can get the better quality ones, you can get battery powered, but all the ones I've got at the moment are mains. So literally you've got a test, cell, which I have no idea what it does, audio, which will beep when the light is ready, because it does need to recharge, and then this is your modelling light. So if you can see on the background there, so that's slightly dim and then much brighter. That is literally just so you can see what you're doing, you can see where the light is going, but then the actual flash itself is much, much brighter. Have adjustment from 20 on this one all the way through to 60 at full power. Let's put the audio on so you can hear that. And then it beeps when it's ready to fire again. Exactly the same thing as the speed light. Here's a little remote trigger which just goes into a little sync port. I have another camera that is linked up. Hopefully you can see that. So there's the little transmitter on top there on the hot shoe. And again, you literally just fire away. One thing I will say about these bigger lights is the type of stand that you have. Get probably an upgraded, better quality stand, because otherwise these lights are a bit heavier. Let's talk about umbrellas and stuff. So diffusers, like I said, with any of these lights, you do not really want to be blasting your subject with the light directly. It's going to look like a deer trapped in headlights. It's just very, very harsh, and just doesn't give a pleasing effect. So the simplest thing you can do one of the cheapest methods is an umbrella. This actually isn't an umbrella, it's on a softbox, but it's exactly the same idea. So an umbrella shoots up like that. You fire your light into the umbrella. The light then bounces back onto your subject. These will come in various different sizes, as do most modifiers, but generally the bigger the light source, the softer the light. You can get different shapes as well. You can get squares, rectangles. This is like a knock-to-box softbox. So this will go in. There's a zip here. It will go over. And then there's a hole in there in the umbrella stand. Slides in. I've got enough room. So as you can see, the light will hit the reflector, bounce back out, and you've now got a much bigger, softer light. To convert this into a softbox, all Neewo have done is they provided a piece of material, translucent, which is just going to diffuse the light even more, like so. So that's that. I also mentioned about Bowens mounts on the video. That's a lie, it wasn't on the video, it was on the message on Facebook. There's another type of mount. So this is for an umbrella. So that shaft there generally aims at your subject. We go back to the main lamp. So on here you have what's known as a Bowens mount. So this is a reflector, Bowens mount reflector. So you see these three prongs. That is your Bowens mount. That will slide on, clip in. There's a little release button, and that's it clicked into position. Now some softboxes will use that mount themselves to mount onto. So I have another one somewhere. Where did I put it? So this is also from Neewo. This one collapses down. So there's your diffusion material inside. I hope you can see. There's a hole there. So you would literally take this off, slide it on, and then trap the softbox in there. So that it would cover in. And this one you would fire into the diffusion material. Some of the better quality softboxes will have 2 bits of diffusion material inside, so they'll have a piece there and then also that one there. That helps spread the light even more. Sorry if I'm speaking fast, it's a bad habit of mine. Don't know what else to say about the lights really. In terms of the light stand, if I just show you. So that there is a very basic cheap light stand. Doesn't go up that high, and then this one here is a better powered air cushioned one. Now these 3 levers here will literally go all the way up to the ceiling here, which is about 12 foot in my tiny little room. It's a high ceiling. That's that. Okay, talking about triggers. So here we have the very simple Neewo speedlight triggers. So literally one will sit in the speedlight like that. Sorry, in the hot shoe. The other one will then go onto the bottom of the speedlight or flash there, turn them on, and then when you fire the camera, this will fire. That's all it will do. You can then get some better quality ones, and if you've got the better quality Yagano flashes, I'm not sure if you can see, but here you then have controls that you can actually control the power. If I go to the right mode. There we go. So group A. So if I go up or down, it's doing the third stop of light. And if you go left and right, you're getting more of a stop of light. So that's full power, half power, quarter power, eighth power. Now this can be very handy to use this because this will sit on top of your hot shoe. So that will save you putting your hand up inside an umbrella possibly and then adjusting the back of the flash, which can happen. So that can be handy. So they're better quality because they'll control the output of the flash itself. And then this one here is what I got given with the studio light. So that is the trigger. So that again will sit on top of my hot shoe of my camera, just in there. The other end has a jack, which I hope you can see, and that will plug into the back of the that's the receiver, will plug into the back of the studio light. And again, that will fire it. Now I'm sure you can probably get some better quality triggers and lights so that you can control your studio lights from either the trigger itself, or some of them you can control from a mobile phone. So if you're creating a massive studio setup with lots of different lights, it might be handy to have it on your phone that you can put that light down, increase that power of that light, etc. But basically, lights, it's just light to light your subject. It does sound very confusing at times because of all the little bits of technology involved, like these little bits here. Just speak to people, read the instructions on what it says on the description of Amazon or eBay in terms of light modifiers, and get practicing with lights, see what you can do. Nobody can come up to you and say, yes, this is what you need, this is what you should have, because nobody really knows what sort of what sort of outcome you want for your subjects and your portraits. There's so many different ways of lighting things nowadays, and you just have to decide what style you want to go for, and you can create very, very different styles with 2 or 3 different lights just by switching them on and off or moving the position of them. But photography is all about controlling the light, and once you get the hang of that, which I'm still learning myself, then your photography will go on leaps and bounds. I hope this has been helpful. I'll now pack away. Take care.